artists are getting burnt out, artists are looking at numbers, artists are facing the threat of AI, and so many other things that make you just question why the are you posting anything online? There's also a growing need to make reels, videos of yourself, filming yourself making art, filming yourself making art, making carousel posts, putting a schedule together, and the list goes on and on and on. This ultimately leads to burnout as artists are not making the art that they want to make and just want to make something for the sake of appeasing the algorithm. Trust me, I've done it before. So why do artists hate social media and why are they afraid of becoming influencers? I think we all know the answers, but let's just discuss it in today's video. So I'm gonna get this one straight out of the way because we all know that burnout is very real amongst artists trying to share their art online. It's not the same as somebody who just posts a photo of themselves because all you have to do is just take a photo and share it, and I'm sure that there are a lot of photos out there that do require a lot more effort, but when you create art, there's just so many energy involved with your literal hands, brain, ideation, and creation of this for it to be shared online, which is a whole different subset of skills that we need to apply on top of taking photos and videos. A lot of artists nowadays primarily use social media to make a living, and trust me, if we didn't have to do it, we probably wouldn't do it. In the past, we used to just post art whenever we felt like it and whenever we felt like something was ready to be shared. But nowadays, the list is pretty much coming up with videos on a weekly basis, recording yourself creating the art, recording yourself creating the art, sharing the behind the scenes of making your art, posting your art on multiple platforms in which it would appeal to all of the different platforms, making a story about you sharing your own art, creating a reel about you making the art, and presenting your art in the way that it would capture the attention of many. So this is also just very unnatural for a lot of artists to take on. Usually when we feel like we want to create art, we just go ahead and do it, but now there's so much preparation involved to make sure that your space, environment looks good. Everything is presentable, especially when we're trying to capture who we are as artists outside of the art ourselves, because nowadays our own art will find more difficulty in standing on its own 2 feet without us also being a part of it, especially now with the threat of AI stealing art. The only way nowadays that you can separate like AI art from other art is to remember that there's a human artist behind that art, which is why it's probably going to be good to present yourself, but it's also really exhausting to do so. So this ultimately takes away the intimacy of us working on our own art, which makes it less enjoyable. This pretty much brings me to my next point, which is showing yourself more, which a lot of artists I feel don't originally sign up to do on the internet. If you might have noticed, a lot of artists have their own persona or their own character that presents themselves. Our art is kind of the window to our soul, so when we are already sharing that online, it already feels like we are sharing ourselves online. Why do you need to see my face? But people apparently need to see artists' faces and physical beings to remember that they're a human and not an AI at this point. But also, a lot of us did not sign up to be vloggers when we wanted to create art, but now that's starting to become a part of the game. Most artists, if given the choice to, probably would not share who they are physically online, but in this day and age, people feel like they need to because that helps increase engagement with the audience, which is necessary if you are trying to make a living on your own as an artist. So while to some people who maybe actually do want to put themselves online and maybe enjoy doing that, that's great. But it's also going to be a very big, potentially uncomfortable step for other artists out there who maybe are not as comfortable with the idea of doing this. Maybe they are struggling with some insecurities with presenting their face and voice online, and also just for general safety reasons. Nobody ever really wants to risk revealing information as to who they are and where they live if all they originally wanted to do was share their art. I'll get into an even deeper part of what I think about this, so stick to the end of the video if you want to know why I really think artists are afraid of being influencers or are anti-social media. Then next is the numbers game. No artist ever again joined social media or wanted to share their art online just for the sake of getting likes, views, attention. I think a lot of artists just liked sharing their art online, knowing that their art art left a positive impact on someone, and that's all there is to it. It was a lot more simple back then. But nowadays, there's a lot of competition online, and a lot of that competition isn't even created by other artists. It's created by algorithms and who the algorithms choose to present that day based on how engaging your posts are. And we're now calling our art posts instead of art, and that in itself is a whole other topic. But I personally don't remember really caring about numbers on social media until 2019, which is when I actually started to take social media more seriously. And when you do take numbers seriously, it's usually because you do want to make some sort of living out of posting your art online, which yeah, you're gonna have to accept that with any business route you take as an artist. But with that, you're always going to get these hits of dopamine the moment your post does really well and it's great. And when your post doesn't perform as well, you're gonna get like really sad and upset and frustrated. Your mood swings are gonna be so dependent on just how well your posts do, which is just like something that you didn't really experience before as an artist. There's a lot of pressure to outdo your previous self and what you created, but this is the part where it's up to you if you want to decide if making a business out of your art is something you want to do, because once it is a business, you're gonna have to start viewing it that way, which kind of is annoying and sucks. But there are still artists out there who don't even want to make their art a business, but are still affected by these fluctuations of high likes, high engagement, low engagement. So whether if it's a business choice or not, I think that the fluctuations of likes and engagement still affects your mood. So finally, the last biggest reason I really think that a lot of artists are anti-social media or are afraid of looking like an influencer or being an influencer really comes down to this, and I think the root of this is from the fear of looking like a sellout. Honestly, I think that this is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of artists are afraid of promoting yourself, and being on social media in its own essence is pretty much just about promoting yourself. I don't think things are as cringy as before, where you have to pretend to be like a car salesman and be like, buy this print, get this one free, get your prints today. Like, there are a lot more organic ways of selling yourself online, but nonetheless, it is still a struggle. In order for you to promote yourself or even put yourself out there on social media, you kind of need some sort of confidence in being like, ooh, look at me. Obviously, you don't need to be like this exactly, but you need to have some confidence to let people want to look at you and your art to even start posting. That is a struggle that even I myself struggled to have for the longest time. Other reasons why are because a lot of influencers in the past, especially the big famous celebrity influencers, have either been negatively associated with scams, unacceptable behavior, or presenting this privileged, rich asshole type of vibe. All of these things are really against the grain of being an artist. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of influencers or people out there in the social media space, which makes it look like being a part of the social media space is being bad. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people out there on social media, artists included, who are not like these personalities, and you don't always need to be this big celebrity influencer who has this asshole personality just to have a space online. I think a lot of artists are also questioning, sponsorships or creating ads for other companies, even when they are not art related, which yeah, I understand it can feel uncomfortable to sound like a salesman again for something that's not even just of your art, but for someone else's product, and using your art or your creation as a space for that advertisement to take place. And it's always going to be a risk out there that you might be presenting a company that might not always be the most perfect company to share with someone, but at the end of the day, we're still always going to either be working for a bigger company that doesn't always align with our values. There's always a catch with everything, and it's about choosing what you are willing to deal with at the end of the day. Something I like to think about personally is if I am taking on a sponsorship, at least I am not taking money directly from my viewers, and all it takes from anyone watching my videos is just their time and attention, and they're always free to skip through it if they want want to. I would rather choose that and still be able to present you all with helpful and useful information. And that's one of the reasons why I think artists shouldn't be afraid of presenting themselves online or using social media as a space to promote themselves or showcase their work. And that's also why this video is here, to kind of point out these reasons so that we're all self-aware as to what is probably holding us back from really putting ourselves out there. And at the end of the day, the choice is really up to you. Sometimes I feel like when we're able to call out the negative things instead of just leaving it in silence, we have more power over the things that hold us back instead of just letting them fester in our brains. If you found videos like this helpful where I shout out some negative things, then maybe you could check out this video called The Toxic Things I Hate About the Art Community, because while social media in itself can be a bit of a hurdle to overcome as an artist, there are things within being in the art community on social media that can also be a struggle. But check this video out if you want to learn more. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later.